So you saw in a quite spirited video the division of 312 by 2. And you heard them singing divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. And so that's our process for long division. And you would have learned that back in elementary school. And believe it or not, that same process will be used for when we do division of polynomials. And so let's begin with an example of our own. 101 divided by 4. So we'll set this up. 101 divided by 4. And we'll begin with dividing 10 by 4, and we get 2. Multiply 2 by 4, and we get 8. Subtract the 8 from the 10, and we get 2. And then bring it on down and bring it on back. So bring down the 1. Divide 21 by 4, and we get 5. Multiply 5 times 4, and we get 20. Subtract the 20 from 21, and we get 1. All right, let's break down the different aspects of our question here. So first of all, 25, we call that our quotient. And I'm just going to generalize that as the function q of x. 4, we call that our divisor. We'll call that function d of x. 101 is our dividend. I'm going to call that p of x. And 1 is our remainder. And I'll call that function r of x. So if we generalize here, when we have our division of the function p of x with our divisor d of x, so p of x divided by d of x, that equals, right, we have p of x in our quotient house here, divided by d of x. And then we get our quotient, and then eventually we'll have our remainder. And now, interestingly enough, we can generalize this with the following equation, right? We have p of x equals d of x times q of x plus r of x. So essentially what this is saying is p of x, remember, that's our dividend. Our dividend is going to equal our divisor times our quotient plus our remainder. So here our dividend was 101, and that equals our divisor times our quotient, so 4 times 25, plus our remainder. Right, so that is always going to be true. And that same process is going to be true regardless of the question. All right, so let's take a look at a previous question we had here. So we have on the right how we solved this before by writing 3 equivalent fractions and then reduce the fractions. But you might be thinking, well, why didn't we use long division? Well, we could have. We certainly could have. We have 5a cubed minus 10a squared plus 20 as our dividend. 5a cubed minus 10a squared plus 20 divided by the 5a. There's our divisor. All right, so remember, divide, right? That means we're going to start by dividing the 5a cubed by the 5a, and that's going to give us a squared. Okay, multiply the a squared by the 5a. So that gives us 5a cubed. Subtract 5a cubed minus 5a cubed is eliminated. And then bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide negative 10a squared by 5a, and that gives us minus 2a. Multiply minus 2a to the 5a, and that gives us minus 10a squared. Then subtract. So we have negative 10a squared minus negative 10a squared, which turns into negative 10a squared plus 10a squared, so that's eliminated. All right, and then bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide 20 divided by the 5a, so that's going to give us plus 4 over a. Multiply 4 over a by 5a, and that gives us 20. Subtract 20 minus 20, which gives us 0. So we have a remainder of 0. So you can see here, you still get the same answer. I think using the 3 fractions and then simplifying is a quicker way to do it, but the long division will still work. So now let's take a look at where we're now dividing a polynomial by a binomial, 2 terms. And in this case, you're going to have to use the long division. And so here we have our dividend. Right, there's our dividend. Here's our divisor. You can write this in fraction form if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and set up the long division. All right, so the dividend I'm going to put in our little carriage here. So we have 8x cubed minus 12x squared minus 2x plus 9. And then the divisor, 2x squared minus 2x. Okay, so remember our process: divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. All right, so when you start, you're going to divide the first term of your dividend, and you're dividing it by the first term of your divisor. All right, I like to show my work for this off to the side. So we're doing 8x cubed, and we're dividing that by 2x squared. Okay, so that is going to give us 4x. All right, I like to write my 4x above the 2x, so it actually helps me keep track of how many iterations I'm going to have to go through before I get to the remainder. All right, so there's our divide. Now multiply. You're multiplying 4x by the divisor. In essence, 4x is being multiplied by the 2x squared minus 2x. So don't forget to distribute. That gives us 8x cubed minus 8x squared. Okay, I'm going to write that right here, 8x cubed minus 8x squared. Okay, subtract. So parentheses around that expression and then the minus sign out front. All right, so what we're saying here is we're saying 8x cubed minus the 8x cubed, that is eliminated. And then we're saying minus 12x squared minus negative 8x squared. That double negative essentially is going to mean a plus. So it's negative 12x squared plus the 8x squared. And that gives us a net of 4x squared. Now, bring it on down and bring it on back. We're going to start that process again. So now we're back at divide. So we're dividing the negative 4x squared by the 2x squared. So that's going to give us negative 2. All right, multiply negative 2 times the divisor, 2x squared minus 2x. So that's, make sure you distribute. That's going to give us negative, let me make my 2 look clearer. There we go. Negative 4x squared plus 4x. Okay, subtract. So I'm going to put parentheses around this expression, say minus. All right, so the negative 4x squared minus the negative 4x squared. It's like saying plus the 4x squared. That is eliminated. Now, negative 2x minus 4x. So that's same sign, add them. So we get negative 6x. Now, bring it on down and bring it on back. So now I know that I am at the remainder because the degree of my minus 6x is smaller than the degree in my divisor. This is x to the first power and my divisor is x squared. All right, so once my degree of my divisor is more than what I have remaining here, I am at the remainder. Okay, so let's just break down the different parts of our answer here. Our quotient is 4x minus 2. Our remainder is negative 6x plus 9. All right, we think about the original question. Okay, I'm just going to paste it down here. We have our dividend divided by divisor equals. It's going to equal our quotient plus our remainder over the divisor. Okay. Okay, so just to tie this into our general form for writing this original expression, remember we have P of X, which represents our dividend, is going to equal our divisor times our quotient plus remainder. And so that's going to look like the following. I have our dividend, which is 8x cubed minus 12x squared minus 2x plus 9. Remember, that's going to equal the product of our divisor, 2x squared minus 2x, times our quotient, which is 4x minus 2, and then plus our remainder, negative 6x plus 9. So what I have written below, oh, give me my red, there we go. What I have written below is equivalent to what we have above. All right, so you can take some time if you want to multiply what we have below out to see that it does actually is equivalent to our dividend here.